Alright, quick and easy step-by-step guide on what do you have to do to unlock Old Scholomance as well as the old items from Naxxramas previously removed from the game. Removed crafting recipes and patterns which are now obtainable again. They are also not bind on pickup, which means you can also trade them, sell them or buy them on the auction house. We are talking about well over 100 weapons and armor now obtainable from Old Scholomance or Naxxramas. So in this guide I will show you what is needed for you to be able to get access to this dungeon and this raid. Now we have 3 prerequisites before we start. Prerequisite number 1, you need to start this whole thing with a character who is honored with the Argent Dawn. Okay, if you're panicking because you don't have a character honored with the Argent Dawn, no problem. Go to the westernmost part of the Eastern Plaguelands right here and talk to Fiona. Fiona will start a bunch of quests which will lead you to the Argent Call, the Trial of the Crypt. Completing this quest will bring your character up to revered reputation with the Argent Dawn, no matter what the character's previous rep was. So even if you don't have a character with any rep with the Argent Dawn, doesn't matter, just do this chain quest which will take you 10 to 15 minutes and you are set. The second prerequisite is for you to have the Krastinov's Bag of Horrors toy. So you can have a friend use this toy in the same group with you if you don't have it yourself, or you can actually go and pick this one up. It's rather quick nowadays.
The doctor is in.
Kill Rattlegore. If you see the yell message in chat, the doctor is in, it means that Krastinov has spawned. You can walk literally to the next room, Krastinov will be there, kill him and lose the toy. If you kill Rattlegore and you don't see the message in chat, exit the dungeon, reset the instance, go back in, kill Rattlegore again and see if Krastinov spawns. Now, even for me, who has the toy already, I kill Rattlegore 3 times and Krastinov spawned every time. So even if you don't have the toy, it should be a rather quick affair. That being said, why don't you have this toy already? Your Transmog appearance game is very weak if you didn't have this toy to begin with. The third prerequisite for this entire set of things, just don't ask why and do it. Buy 3 Dark Runes, 5 Essences of Undeath, 2 Righteous Orbs, 4 True Silver Bars, 6 large brilliant shards and 5 arcane crystals. Don't ask, just do it. Now that you have all that is needed, go in Scholomance, go all the way to the last boss and enter the center room on the 2nd floor. There you will find a pile of bones on the ground. On top of those bones is where you get to use the toy. This toy will spawn a pretty scared NPC who won't talk to you. You have to remove the toy appearance of Krastinov from yourself to make the NPC stop being scared. Once it's no longer scared, you can talk to the NPC and you will get an inert spectral essence. You can turn this essence into a spectral essence by using the 3 Dark Runes and the 5 Essences of Undeath that you bought beforehand. This turns into a trinket which you can now equip and you can now use to talk and see the NPCs around Caer Daro, the town around Scholomance. Now, those pile of bones will also be clickable. You will find Eva's Femur right on top of those, which is one of the items you will need to complete the ritual to unlock Old Scholomance. Now, as you exit the dungeon, stop in the room right before the room of the last boss, the viewing room, the room filled with students and a bunch of bookshelves around the walls. Now, look at the door that leads to the corridor to the room of the last boss. To the right, there is going to be a lone bookshelf. Right behind the bookshelf, you will be able to find an interactable book. Clicking on it will give you Eva's journal, which is needed for the ritual. You can now go out of Scholomance and pick up 4 items around the western and eastern Plaguelands. The closest one to you is going to be the Caer Daro fountain water. This is literally in a bucket next to the fountain in the small town outside of the dungeon you just exited. The next one is still in the Western Plaguelands. It's in Andorhal. It's the deed to Andorhal. It's in the building to the south of the town where the Rattlegore NPC is. There is going to be a notice pinned to a wall. Clicking on it will give you the second item. Then you move to the Eastern Plaguelands. You can get the Trampled Doll located by a meat wagon in Darrowshire in the Eastern Plaguelands, and then you can find the Road Ahead item in Corrin's Crossing. This one is going to be inside the inn building, the biggest building in Corrin's Crossing. In the ground floor there's going to be just one painting. That's the only painting in the room that you can click on to find the fourth item. The fifth and last item required will actually be in a dungeon. This one will be in Stratholme, in live Stratholme. You have to take 2 turns left once you enter Stratholme, right over here. In here you will find a torn down broken caravan. Right at the edge of this torn down broken caravan there is going to be another interactive item, and clicking on it will give you the undelivered shipment of smokes. Now you have all of the items needed for you to go back to Caer Daro, the town outside of Scholomance. You will find in there, thanks to the trinket, which allows you to see the friendly ghost NPCs, 5 different NPCs, and each of them will have an item to sell you, and they will require one of the 5 items you have picked up along the way. Once you have talked with all 5 of them, you will now have 5 candles together with Eva's Femur as well as Eva's Journal. You can now go back towards the entrance of Scholomance, but this time don't go left as you usually do. This time you go right. You take a turn right and then you go forward in the first small room you encounter. Entering that room and clicking on Eva's Journal will complete the ritual to unlock Old Scholomance and will make it playable. You will get the achievement for having completed this step, and now Scholomance is unlocked. It also has a bunch of recipes and items previously unavailable inside Old Scholomance. Now, the reason why we wanted to unlock Old Scholomance is because now we want to enter the Old Scholomance dungeon to go to the Rattlegore room. Going to the Rattlegore room will let you get next to the pile of bones right next to the door that you enter the room in, and there's going to be a cracked Argent Dawn commission. Using what we bought beforehand, using 1 righteous orb and 4 true silver bars, will turn this cracked commission into the Argent Dawn commission proper. Now replace the previous trinket we have been using to find the spooky ghosts in Caer Daro with the Argent Dawn commission. Now that you have this trinket, you can continue down Old Scholomance until you get to defeat the last boss once more. In this old version of Scholomance, you have to defeat every single mob in the 6 rooms around the last boss room, even the trash mobs, literally every mob in there, to let the last boss spawn. Defeating Gandling, the last boss, will drop a Dark Master Scourge Stone. This will start a quest, the Dark Master Scourge Stone, which is going to be turned in the Light Soap Chapel, which is what will allow you to obtain Scourge Stones once more, which will also be needed to be traded to one of the vendors inside of Naxxramas for the old gear. However, now we have the last bit of this prerequisite unlocking, which is the speed run. What you do is you enter live Stratholme and you start killing a bunch of mobs until you spawn an Eye of Naxxramas, a spooky shadow ghost. Defeating this spooky shadow ghost will drop a ward of Naxxramas. Now, once you are around killing a bunch of mobs waiting for the Eye of Naxxramas to spawn, click on a few of the crates around the roads of Stratholme to loot a Stratholme Holy Water. Once you have both of the Ward of Naxxramas and the Stratholme Holy Water on you, you can start the event. Run to the Scarlet Crusade part of Live Stratholme, right next to the left gate over here. Here you can click on the Ward of Naxxramas, gain the True Sight buff, which will allow you to see what was never meant to be seen, which is going to be a Dread Ward. You can now use the Stratholme Holy Water on top of the Dread Ward to destroy the ward and get a debuff called Sleight of Hand. This is going to be a 5-minute timer where you now have to run. You have to speed run your way to the undead side of Stratholme, kill the bosses in front of the 3 ziggurats, and then kill the NPCs inside the ziggurats to open the gate to the last bit of the dungeon, get rid of all of the abominations in front of the ziggurat where the last boss is in, get rid of the second to last boss, get rid of the guard of Rivendare, and kill Rivendare. Once you have killed Rivendare, the gate to the left of the location the boss is in will open. You can run through that gate and find behind another gate a hand of Naxxramas, and you will find the hand trying to run away in the same timer as your Sleight of Hand debuff. If you make it to the hand of Naxxramas in time, you will have an extra action button available coming up as you are close to the hand of Naxxramas, which will allow you to destroy the mob. Once it's destroyed, you will find a message coming in the chat, which basically means go back to the Lightsoap Chapel. Once you go back to Lightsoap Chapel, or if you have never done any quests there, you have to go to Tyr's Hand. You have to find Archmage Angela dos Santos, who is either in Lightsoap Chapel or in Tyr's Hand. Talking to her will give you the quest that will unlock the alternate version of Naxxramas with the old items available in there. That is where you will get to use the large brilliant shards, the arcane crystal, and the righteous orb to complete the quest, and that is also why you needed at least Honored with the Argent Dawn, because this quest is also rep specific. Once you have completed that, you will also get the achievement Wards of the Dread Citadel, as well as earning access to the alternative entrance of Naxxramas. That is now the entrance you will use when you want to go in the version of Naxxramas with all of the older items now available. So this is the entire bit of prerequisites needed to unlock access to both Old Scholomance as well as the version of Naxxramas with the older items now available. We will then have the follow-up video about what you have to do once you have done this to get all of these old items from Naxxramas or from Scholomance, but for now these were the steps required for you to get past all of these prerequisites and the unlocking of this dungeon and this raid in patch 10.1.5. Now, all in all, following a guide like this one should take you probably less than an hour in total to get all of this completed, so it shouldn't be too much of a waste of time. So, hoping that this has at least helped a little bit, we can now stop for today on this Tuesday. We're starting, of course, the goodbyes by thanking all of the Patreon supporters for the contribution and the help to the growth of the channel. You can still support as usual in plenty of free ways. You can like and comment down below, as well as subscribing to the channel itself. With these things out of the way, thank you guys again for watching. See you guys tomorrow, and in the meantime, if you don't see the camera nowadays, it's because with 36 degrees, the camera has melted, unfortunately. So we have to find an alternative temperature to make the camera happen.